Before I start the video, The Outer Worlds is a game best played with little to no information. There are quite a bit of spoilers, so if you haven't played it yet, please do so first. Now on to the video. Hey, it's Cat, and this week, I'm going to talk about a space exploring adventurer from Mobius Digital, The Outer Wilds. The Outer Wilds is about you, a young astronaut exploring and learning about the local solar system, and uncovering its many mysteries. The story of Outer Wilds is about a space cadet that's going on his first expedition to space. The game's plot is less about the character you play as, and more about the world and each player's personal voyage through the stars. And accompanying you along that voyage is your trusty spaceship, which houses all your equipment and is your only mode of reliable transport. Flying the spaceship around is a lot of fun, and something the player naturally gets good at over time. But even if you're not a Han Solo, the ship does come with an autopilot and a landing mode to help more inexperienced flyers. One of the scariest moments is when you're without your spaceship. Sometimes, a planet's phenomenon will sweep your ship far away, and you're either left stranded on a planet or stuck in space. After flying about in your spaceship, the next thing to do is choose one of the 5 planets to explore, which are the water-filled planet Giant's Deep, the sandy Hourglass Twins, the crumbling Brittle Hollow, and the mysterious Dark Bramble. Every planet is carefully crafted with a distinctive design and have their own unique environments and phenomena, from water sprouts to shifting sands. The very first time you land on a planet is filled with wonder and excitement, and your curiosity to explore the foreign land. Although the game is largely open-ended, each planet has their own landmarks and mysteries that attract the player to go and see what's there, essentially functioning as goals, and it's a great way to get the player excited to explore, which brings us to the meat of the Outer Wilds gameplay. The Outer Wilds' core gameplay loop revolves around the player's desire to explore and learn more about the solar system. The game will intentionally leave many questions unanswered and let the player find the answers to those questions themselves. The game will soon turn the player from an astronaut to an archaeologist, as the focus of the game soon shifts from exploring space to investigating ruins and solving puzzles. A big part of the game is reading the aliens' writings to gain a better understanding of the world, as the text will usually reveal important information and take you a step closer to accessing one of the many landmarks in the game. Speaking of which, landmarks are special places that can't be normally accessed without the right information and understanding of the planet. Each planet's own phenomenon is key to accessing the various planets' landmarks. For example, to reach the fabled Sunless City, the player needs an understanding of how the Hourglass Twins' shifting sands work, which isn't just scrawled on some stone wall. The player needs to observe and get an idea of how it plays into the grander scheme of things, which when you do, makes you feel like Indiana Jones going to the treasure room of an ancient ruin. The puzzles that guard the entrances to the landmarks are not easy, and require the player to put in the effort and apply what they've learned to solve, as information pertaining to accessing a landmark is not easy to find and often requires expeditions to other planets, which makes moments where the player goes to a landmark really special and rewarding, as they will obtain the treasure of information that will answer a part of the player's burning questions. The difficulty of the Outer Wilds is what keeps the game interesting and is integral to its experience. But the lack of guidance can be daunting at times. To alleviate this issue, the game has many clever ways to deliver its experience without making it too difficult. For example, the game's starting zone lets the player have an idea of what's to come, with small and optional tutorials littered throughout the village. Everything from repairing a spaceship to using your signal scope is included. out of all the tutorials, the Signalscope tutorial is by far the most important, as you use it to find some kids while playing hide and seek with them. This teaches a player to follow the Signalscope's findings, where once followed, will soon lead them to one of the many astronauts on another planet. Your fellow astronauts will brief you about the planet that you're on, and point you towards areas of interest. This is a great way to keep the player immersed and prevent boring expedition dumps. Your spacefaring friends are not just information outlets, and all have their own personality and have instruments unique to them, and play a variation of Outer Wilds theme song, which can be heard near them or while using the Signalscope. This helps you feel a little less lonely in a game where you're mostly alone. And just like the game's tutorials, talking to the NPCs is completely optional and don't affect gameplay in major ways. There is a lot of information to keep track of in the game, which is why your ship has a log which keeps track of all that information for you. The log is arguably one of the most important things in the game, as it keeps track of what you've discovered, what you haven't discovered, and anything that you might have missed out while exploring, which helps eliminate frustration down the line. The log will tell you when it updates, which is how the player knows that they have received important information, and it's a way to tell them that they're on the right path. The Outer Wilds music and sound design is one of the most memorable things in the game. Every moment of your journey is filled with a bit of background noise to set the tone of where you are and what's happening. Everything you do is made a bit more dramatic and exciting because of the music. One of the best parts where the sound design shines, or more specifically lack thereof, is when you are outside of your ship in the void of space. All you hear is a deafening silence and the whizzes of the jetpack. It's as if the birds stop singing because danger is coming. I honestly think the Outer Wilds is a well-made game, but it has some flaws. The game has a very high entry difficulty which can scare off newbies, and the experience can depend on how much effort the player puts in themselves. Furthermore, some puzzles are convoluted and misleading, which personally led to a lot of frustration and forced me to Google for the solution. These, however, are not game-breaking problems, but they are certainly frustrating at times. Even though the game has no co-op functionality, playing with a friend makes it much more fun. And even though I don't get the direct control of the character, I can still actively participate. And this makes the more difficult puzzles less frustrating and more fun compared to when playing it solo, as both of you can brainstorm on solutions. This is perfect for when your girlfriend is watching you play, as she can also join in on the fun without a controller. Which is why co-op play is a feature that I would like to see in a future update or a sequel. And whether you're playing the Outer Wilds solo or with a friend, the game is absolutely phenomenal and an out-of-this-world experience. The Outer Wilds is $16.99 Singapore dollars on the Epic Games Store and $24.99 on the Steam Store. I will say again that the Outer Wilds is not for everybody, but if you're ready for an adventure, I highly recommend you give Mobius Digital's Outer Wilds a try. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a month and that this isn't a Doom Eternal video, but I still want to thank you for watching this. Also, give me your feedback in the comment section, because your advice will be taken into consideration in future videos. Thank you so much for watching my videos and have a great week. Bye bye.